Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this podcast and YouTube channel. I am so excited to bring to you some important concepts so that you can live the life that you envision for yourself as a private practice owner. You deserve to live that ideal scene. But let me share with you, in this episode, I'm going to go through problem solutions in actual application of some successful actions that you can apply in private practice. I'm going to give you 3 examples of owners that I've spoken to in the last 2 months. One's a new grad. He is a new grad. He's a new grad and he's working for somebody else looking to start his practice. The other person's been in business 10 years and the other person's been in business 3 years. And I'm going to share with you some examples of what they're currently living through, because I think you can glean some tremendous insight into their experiences and take them home for your own personal benefit. But what's the problem? The problem is we're working harder and longer and making less. We're working more and getting less. The exchange is not going in our favor for way too many people. And I want to change that. I want you to change that. You didn't get into this to have a lesser life, right? And things aren't going to right themselves. It wasn't too long ago, my wife and I were sitting down working on our tax preparation one Saturday, and we told our daughter we weren't going to be available for a few hours as we got this together. And she said, "Well, that's a good thing, Dad, because them taxes aren't going to pay themselves." And I just laughed. I just thought that was really funny. And that's the same way I feel about your practice. Your practice isn't going to make practice through the year on its own. It's not going to be the best business model on itself. You have to have the steering wheel in your own hands, and you have to bring about that change. So what's the problem? We know the problem's the income squeeze. I don't want to get into all of those details, increasing payroll, inflation, cost of living, all that kind of stuff. You know all that. But what else is the problem? The problem is your considerations. It's your fixed ideas. Your fixed ideas about how you run your schedule. Your fixed ideas about who you should hire and what your hiring process is, what you should pay. All of these things are within your control if you just simply re-examine and change your mind. Because as you gather new data, you can actually get new ideas and you can create a new vision, which I spoke about in an earlier episode. Here's my examples. Aren't you frustrated with hearing, example number 1, that my gross income has gone up, my patient visits have gone up, and my net revenue is down 3%? How many of you are experiencing that? You're doing more work and you're getting a lesser net. And then you're going to look around for the fault point. Like, where do what external influencing factor is causing this in my practice? Is it look, I don't care, and I know this isn't popular for me to say, I don't care about the reduction in the PTA reimbursement for Medicare. I don't care about the 3% Medicare cut, 3.7, 3.4, whatever it lands on. I don't care about the inflation. I don't care about the cost of livings, the higher interest rates on mortgages, the $8 eggs. I don't care, because you know what? You can't do anything about that. So stop whining about it. Stop blaming that for your problems in your business and why your net revenue is down. Because United Healthcare is paying you $51 a visit, when a massage therapist is making $85 an hour in that same 1-hour session, right? What I care about is what you're going to do about it. I don't care about the external factors, because you could go on about the physician owned, you can go on about the hospital systems, you can go on about DHS and CMS and reductions and Congress's insanity. Yeah, we all can. But what are you going to do about it? What are you going to change? What you can change is your schedule. Like it or not, top 10% of practices in this country are seeing patients 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, keeping them all 55 to 65 minutes, and understanding how to be ethically compliant with their charging and coding by going back and forth between patients and only indicating the units of services applied to that patient in accordance with the rules and regulations. If it's a Medicare 8 to 23 minute rule, if it's an AMA 8-minute rule. And the fact that you don't know that, and the fact that you think you got to see patients 1 an hour, otherwise you're going to go to jail wearing orange and black, or you got to see them 1 every 45 minutes. And I see people doing this all the time. And maybe there's reasons. Maybe it's a neuro clinic. I get it. But if you got your traditional outpatient physical therapy practice, You have a choice. You can see patients 55 to 65 minutes, cross over, do it fairly and ethically with the appropriate team, the appropriate scheduling, the appropriate application of time services and untimed services, supervised services, direct services, attended services, unattended services. I don't care, however you want to label it. They all mean the same thing. You can all put them together. You can pick and choose how you want to handle that schedule. You can pick and choose your hours of operation. You can be open 5 days a week. You can be open 6 days a week. Top 10% of clinics are often open on Saturdays, 9 to 2, 9 to 4. I don't often see people go longer than that. It's a choice. You may be like throwing out what I'm saying right now, like not doing that. Again, that's a choice. You don't have to do that. You could have 3 income verticals in your business. You could be using advanced technology in the hands of skilled therapy services being delivered that you can charge cash for where appropriate. Or you could have non-licensed therapists doing a wellness or an optimum health program or fitness program, and you could be having cash-based services there. It's a choice. 3 income verticals, though, that's hard to beat. That's almost a must right now. You should or could, or maybe you're already doing so, getting 20% of your revenue each year through cash-based services. 20% or more. You got a hybrid practice going on. You're a mobile PT or you're cash-based, but you have some higher-end insurances. Maybe you've ditched those low-end insurances. Any insurance that's not paying you $15 more than your cost to deliver that service, I don't think you should be servicing them. I think they're taking advantage of you. I think they're abusing the profession. I think they're walking right over us. I think they're being insulting. I think we're being insulted. And we're allowing it, or some of us may be allowing it. This is a bring about change moment. If you really want to see your life change and you're working, like let's say you're working for somebody and you're a clinical director, like my other owner, who says, yeah, I want to make the move, Brian. I'm currently making 95, 96,000, something like that. Kenny told me. He's making 95, 96,000 a year. It's him and his wife. He's been out 3 years and he wants to open his own practice, but he's worried about location. He's worried about getting into the insurance carriers. He's worried about credentialing. He's worried. And when he got about to the 6th worry, I said, all right, so wait a minute, Kenny. All the things you're worried about are all the things you don't know. Because you're not sitting here saying to I want to open up my own practice, but I'm worried about treating, microdiscectomies, total knee replacements, shoulder impingements, tendinitis, bursitis, meniscus tears. No, because that's the area that you have certainty in. And so the areas you have certainty in, you have control over. So if you're listening to me right now and you're like, I am made for more, like Kenny was telling me, I'm blissfully discontent. I'm working in this practice as a good therapist, but this isn't where I'm not going to end my career here. This is not the end for me. I want a life change. I want to live a different life. I can tell you, 75,000, 95,000, 105,000, even 110,000 isn't going to change your life. That person between 80,000 and 110, you might drive the higher end model of the Honda Accord or the Highlander, but your life isn't going to change much more than that. If you literally want to live a life of greater freedom and greater financial stability, you have to take ownership over more things than just your schedule as a treating therapist. You have to find ways to get 3 income verticals. You have to find ways to have a greater sphere of influence. Become an owner without the fear. You fear what you don't know. Look, I wouldn't go from high school to treating patients full-time in a PT clinic without yet going to PT school and coming out a staff therapist fully trained. PT school failed us. PT schools in America are failures. They're failing institutions because they are only engineered and set to establish you as a staff physical therapist making a $75,000 to $90,000 a year position out there in the world today. Well, guess what? Chiropractor school doesn't do that. They have business management training so that you can set yourself up and make a good, healthy 6-figure income. Not that money's the end of the world, but it does help. Don't tell me it doesn't. It does afford me a greater opportunity for a greater work-life balance, and it affords me the opportunity to give back to my community and my family in a more fulfilling manner with less pain and strain and stress. Be honest. That's the truth. I can't tell you how many owners I'm the caregiver owner. It's all about my staff. It's all about my patients. Yeah, what are you paying yourself? $45,000, $48,000. You own a clinic with 6 therapists working for you on a $3,000 and you can't even make your bills or put money in reserves and you're paying yourself $45,000? Knock it off. Stop being the martyr. Buck up and realize you're not wearing your CEO hat and be the owner you need to be, that people are coming, because your staff's walking all over you if they're making 6 figures while you're making 48. That's just the truth. Like, you're just failing in ownership. You may be a sweetheart soul and you may be a great therapist. I love all of that about you. But what I don't love is how you're treating yourself. I don't love how you're shortchanging yourself and you're literally denying yourself the life that you're affording everyone else around you. That's got to wear on you. That really has to wear on you. Kenny is like, yeah, man, I get it. I need to know how to be a good billing manager. I need to know how to be a good recruiting officer. I need to know how to, all the personnel, files and folders and regulations and compliance rules. And I don't have the bandwidth for all that. Then outsource it. Outsource billing, outsource virtual front desk, outsource your marketing so you can have that work-life balance as a new owner. And he was like, oh, that makes total sense. I said, but you still have to know how to be a CEO. You still have to know how to build a practice. You still need to know the 27 steps to get your doors open so you're break even within 3 to 6 months. Stop being sick and tired of being sick and tired. For those of you who are already in practice and you've seen things change, I've seen things change. I've been a therapist for 30 years. I see reimbursement coming down. I see costs going up. I get it, but I can't change that. What I can change is how I react to it so I don't fail. Failure is an option, and you can do something about it. So here's the solutions. I talked to another owner. Her name was Abby. She was working as a director, and then a medical physician came to her and said, hey, I've got this extra space. Why don't you come and treat out of this space? I could send you a whole bunch of patients. Oh, okay. And then, hey, I'm moving to this new location. Why don't you open up down the hall for me? They have space there. Oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, hey, this employer wants to have you working in here in their place in an OC health relation. Oh, okay. Hey, this other clinic here is an opportunity for you to, have your office right next to it. It's innocent owner. Like, okay, like no roadmap, no direction, just as the opportunities fell into Abby's lap, she just did the next thing, did the next thing, did the next thing. Spent no money whatsoever after 10 years of being in business on herself, on how to be a better leader, a better communicator, a better executive. So what do you get in that scenario? You get a practice where you have a lot of hourly people and you have a lot of contractors, which in many ways is illegal because it doesn't meet the requirements of the 1099 federal law, as I discover. And Abby's like, oh yeah, I got I think it was a total of like 12 employees. And I'm like, but you don't have a team. Oh no, I do. And I'm like, what evidence of that do you have? I have had some people with me a long time. Well, just because you pay them well and they can't get that somewhere else, so they're sticking with you, doesn't mean you have a team. Do they want to stick around and do notes? No. Do they want to help market in the community? No. Do they do any workshops? No. Do they do any community service with you? No. You know why? You're just exchanging time for money. You've created an environment where you're exchanging time for money because you don't know any better. It's not that you're a bad person. It's just you don't know any better. So what do you need to do to make a change? You need to have a plan. You need to have an annual business strat plan that's broken down into quarterly segments that you're running a weekly management action plan with your team, and they're benefiting and they're being exchanged in abundance in doing so. Put everybody on a pay-for-performance model. Solution. Move your staff to a pay-for-performance model so you have the right solution to build a network of people that are exchanging in abundance with the practice and with themselves. So you're fair to them. Expand your hours. Expand your services. What cash-based services are you doing that you're not currently doing? Expand your network. If you're already doing OC Health and several employers, why don't you set a target for 3 new employers every 6 months? And continue that vertical as its own silo so the clinic's not job sharing all these people and now it's all erratic and it's almost impossible to have a cohesive schedule for the benefit of your patients, which is why you're getting no success stories, which is why You're not seeing 65% of all your evals being return business. Patients who've been here before, friends, family members, peers, and coworkers of patients who've been here before. That's a solution for y'all. If you are getting 65% of your business as return business related to a patient's experience that you've already had in your hands, then you're a high quality practice. But if not, then you're not. I mean, it's just the facts. You're just not, right? What is your budget? Is your rent less than 10% of your total GI? Is your payroll under 50% of your total GI? You know, I was just at CSM and we did a polling question. And the number one answer was 40 to 50% payroll as a percent of GI. I won't go into number two, but only 8% of the people in the room said that their payroll was greater than 60% of their total GI. That's good. If your payroll is over 60% of your total GI, that's bad. That's really bad. If your benefit package is greater than 13%, maybe 15%, depending on where I am in the country, if it's greater than 15% of their total compensation, that benefit package is too rich. You got to shop. Time to shop around, get better insurance, get better retirement plan, reduce those costs. That's on you. You're the owner, you're the CEO. Are you not having your staff turn in stats every week and then every month have a monthly staff meeting and reflect on who's performing the best in terms of efficiency, who's performing the best in terms of productivity, who's got the highest net promoter score out of the number of patients being surveyed? Reflection, acknowledgement, validation. What efforts are you putting into gamification and personal and professional engagement with your staff inside your practice? Solution. People want to feel part of a team. People want to feel like they're part of a family. People want to feel that they matter, that they make a difference. How are you doing that? A Starbucks gift card only goes so far. What are they winning? What game are they winning? What prize are they winning? What acknowledgement are they getting? Are they seeing their name in lights in your monthly newsletter? Do you have a monthly newsletter? Do you have a learning management system inside your practice? That's what we do. We provide you the learning management system. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. We'll give you the learning management system so everybody gets onboarded the same way every time. Everybody hears the same message. It can be your message. It can be completely altered and customized to your needs. So now it's not like, well, I wasn't taught that or I wasn't shown that. That's not possible. You signed off on this new staff orientation training. It's in there. You had to pass the quiz. You had to do the assignment. Are you putting that level of accountability onto your staff? Do you have a personnel management department that is enriching the staff for long-term retention? If not, why not? Look, I know you want to talk numbers. It's reimbursement, it's cost, but it's more than that. This is all interrelated. Yes, ditch the low payers. I already told you that. If it's less than 15% over your cost, ditch it. But find other income streams that are going to offset the low paying income streams. Find your brand. What do people think about you when they say your practice? When people used to say Cypress Creek Therapy, right after that, they would almost verbatim say our tagline, your family-friendly provider. Because we treated 2-week-old little babies all the way to 98-year-old seniors. In aquatic therapy, OT, PT, I made sure that we could treat the entire family. 35% of our caseload's pediatric, rest was adult. Pediatric income stability, adult income viability. Great balance. Business model. I'm not saying you have to take my business model, but there's other very, very successful business models. But one thing's for sure, they all have 3 income verticals. I don't see them without that. It's really hard to have the hustle all on one, putting all your money on one horse or dog, whichever race you like. So that's my message for this week. Look, you can't just keep doing what you're doing and expecting a different result. You've got to abandon, as you've heard me say, so many key elements of that fee-for-service practice model and get into pay as you go, pay for what you use. Be more progressive. If you don't know about the progressive PT practice model, just go to my website, www.megbusiness.com. And for those of you who have been listening, please subscribe. 85% of people are not subscribed, and I desperately want to have you as a subscriber so I can continue to put out great content and put out more meaningful solutions like the ones I've rattled off here. And if you want details on how those solutions can work in your practice because you're fearful of making those changes, oh, my staff's not going to react to that. Well, it's all in your package. It's all in your delivery. If you need help with that, we'll role play it. So reach out to us, get the help. If not with us, somebody else. Get the help to change your practice model into a model that's more viable. You can't keep seeing your visits go up and your gross income go up and your net revenue go down. You got to do something about it, everybody. You can change it, though. This is on you. You have to take the effort. You have to spend a few dollars on yourself and on your team and on your practice. Putting forth that effort, that time, and that investment, you're the benefactor of that. It's like I said in my earlier curve. As it gets harder and tougher, the number of people, the crowd gets smaller. So many people turn around and go back. They can't do it. They can't stick it out. Don't be that person. Don't turn around. You can stick it out and you can make it successful. I see it every day. I work with tons of practices that have over a 20% net revenue on an annual basis, and they're humming along feeling great because they built that. Nobody did it for them. They did it. They built it. Let me help you help you. That's what my hope is for you. So I hope you enjoyed this message. I hope you get a lot out of it. All the tools are within your grasp. You just got to reach out and grab them.